Hey guys, and welcome back to Sonic Unleashed. We're done with Chunan for now. We've quelled the Phoenix's anger, but don't worry, we'll be back later because there is a day stage to deal with. For now though, yep, we're heading back to Spagonia during the day, which can mean only one thing. It's time to visit
Rooftop Run Day, Rooftop Run Day,
Professor
Rooftop Run Day.
Pickle. We have to go see Professor Pickle first.
Rooftop Run Day!
We're getting to Rooftop Run Day. Calm your horses.
I can't, I'm too excited.
Let me propose you this idea. Rooftop Run Day as Pickle. I think there is actually a Generations mod that lets you do that.
Yes, there is, and I've seen it. It's amazing. Although I'll do you one better. Like, Wave Ocean as Pele the beloved dog.
That's fucking beautiful. I love that.
Mel Pontro, I believe. He's the guy who did
Yes, yeah.
Professor Pickle Adventures and The Adventures of Pele the Dog.
Yeah.
They were all glorious.
So yeah, I don't think we've mentioned this yet. I slightly allude to it in, I think, the Holoska episode. But you need two halves of a temple key to get into, a temple and be a boss and put the emerald in and recharge it. And we're still missing a half, I believe, for Spagonia. So I guess we're going to have to go and get that now.
Indeed.
Now that there you saw my options there is a little sort of side questy sort of thing that you can do with Pickle that he likes collecting souvenirs. And if you buy different souvenirs from the vendors at the different hub worlds you go to, if you give him enough, I haven't done this, so I just know this is a thing you can do, but if you've give him enough, then he will give you Sun and Moon medals. And given he's on outside, you would think he would just help us for the sake of it, rather than trying to milk souvenirs out of us. But,
put that shit in my hand, Mr. Sonic Man. Pickle needs to get paid. Teacher's salaries aren't much.
Yeah, but most professors don't like being paid in gimmicky souvenirs. Like, cash money is much more preferable.
What's his, profession, though? Is he an archaeologist, like Professor Layton? I'm sure he'd love, tat light, though.
It's not really clear what he is a professor of, but he does seem to like the world, so perhaps he is some sort of... maybe a geographer or a sociologist or something along those lines.
Yeah, I would say, world politics, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
We're just, quibbling here, but, oh my god, it is time for the level that I believe best represents Sonic Unleashed in any version.
Oh, hell yeah.
Rooftop Run, baby.
It is clearly the best level in Sonic Unleashed by a landslide. Amazing soundtrack, amazing level in general, amazing little set pieces, just everything about this is glorious.
Just hearing the music takes me back to when we first got the level trailer for Spagonia, and we heard this music for the first time, and I didn't shed a tear, but I had a religious experience, I think, or damn near one.
Well, I will say though, musically, I'm always going backwards and forwards on whether I prefer the Unleashed version of Rooftop Run's music or the Generations one, because the Generation one's sort of replaces a bit of the melodic tones from guitar to piano sounds.
Yeah.
And both of them work really well, but I could go either way with them.
My explanation for that is, this one's, the world adventure, so I guess the guitars and whatnot make it seem a bit more bombastic. Flash forward to Generations, that version of Rooftop Run Day is set during, a world festival. So, put the piano in, it's a bit more celebratory, it's a bit more jovial.
I can see that, yeah, and that complements the way that Rooftop Run sort of adapted in Generations, because you got a lot more sort of stuff going on, in terms of the visual side. Obviously, the level's much longer in Unleashed, but still.
Oh god, yes. I think if there is one criticism that I would have for the Generations version of Unleashed is that it's far too short. Half the reason that Rooftop Run in Unleashed is as good as it is because of its length. Because I feel like it's just the right length for a Sonic level around this point in the game, because it's long enough that you feel like you've really spent time in it, but it's short enough that it doesn't outstay its welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, what frustrates me more about that is that they were willing to allocate the extra time to fucking Planet Wisp of all things, which is a shit level in Generations.
Yeah.
But Rooftop Run, the actual exciting level, no, we're just going to abridge that.
Yeah, I suppose. But man, like they really went for like huge open set pieces in the Wii version. And granted, you know, the HD version does have the clock tower slide and whatnot, but you get mountains in the background of this one.
Like, I will say that grinding shot is much more amazing to look at in the HD one. Like,
Wow,
I'm
yeah.
not even just talking about visually, but like the use of the camera and stuff like that.
Well, it's because what they do in the HD version, as we will see, is that they follow Sonic down from behind, almost, rather than just having the shot of straight at the side of the clock tower. And that's something that also slightly disappointed me in the Generations version of that particular moment, is that they cut that short. And it's just like, but it's such a glorious moment. Like, it's the pinnacle of Rooftop Run. And they just cut it down. It's like, no, you blighters. Also, that stained glass window is glorious.
Indeed. Although, to be fair, in Generations' case, you can friggin' ride a surfboard or whatever vertically up the clock tower, boosting all the way.
That mission. That mission is amazing. Like, for all that.
We may return to Generations one day, both, you know, HD and 3DS, and possibly redo it, because I think there's a lot to say, what with, like, 2017 coming out this year at the time of recording, funnily enough. And let's be honest, the recording process for the HFC one, like the old HFC one, was a bit of a clusterfuck, but we're talking about things besides Rooftop Run at this point. Flame, how did you feel about the fact there's 2 city levels in the game? Like, you've got Rooftop Run representing, I guess, the more European style of city, you know, the more classical one, and then you have, like, Skyscraper Scamper, Empire City, later on with the more modern stuff. How did you feel this compares to that? Did you like it? Did you like the fact there's 2 city levels in one game?
Well, I think they're varied enough that it's not really that big of a deal that they're both cities. Like, as you say, they're very different approaches on the city thing. And, like, this is... I've said it already, but like this, I much prefer this to Empire City. This is just such a fucking cool level.
Yeah, it really
Empire
is.
City, it's not bad,
Yes.
but it's But, so to have this as just the aesthetics alone differentiate it enough for me. I'm not too fussed by it.
Fair enough, mate, fair enough. Be very careful sliding round here, by the way, because you can go flying off if you're not careful.
And that's why I tend to deviate towards the grind rail rather than trying to use the drift.
Oh man, the first time I got that quick step sequence down pat, I felt like a god.
I think that's actually probably one of the reasons why this level is so fun, is because you do spend the majority of the first massive chunk of it completely in boost.
Yeah.
And it's just a very satisfying feeling to be able to pull it off well, and it just feels so right.
Yes. Colours and everything. So I thought you were going to finish that quip yourself. I thought I'd just boost right in there, slide into your DMs and so on and finish it for you. And one thing I did notice as we were boosting through the city is that there are mountains in the background, but I feel the Wii version like showcases them a lot more prominently and like in a much lower resolution.
Yes.
And another difference between Wii and HD is there was one of these guys in the Wii version. We get like 3 times the amount here.
Although, admittedly, that one was bigger, so it's kind of take your poison. But like that thing with the mountains and that was kind of what I was saying in the last part about how it looks foggier, like it's more distant, whereas everything is sharp in the Wii version, so you notice it more.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
I suppose the other thing is that in the Wii version it seemed like everything was a bit more pulled out, whereas everything in the HD version is very much in the depths of the city.
Yeah,
So the mountains are kind of just in the background, whereas obviously in the Wii version we were spending a lot more time up above, so you could see it a lot more clearly.
Yeah, and just while we're on the subject of like depth and whatnot, one thing I've noticed between Unleashed and Generations is in Generations, even when you're boosting at top speed, it feels like you're going, and I don't know whether this is just like a placebo effect or whatnot, it feels like you're going a teeny bit slower than you ever could at like max speed on Unleashed. I think that's because they pulled the camera out a little bit. Like you'll notice the camera in Unleashed a lot of the time is very close to Sonic, and that gives you the feeling or the illusion, I guess, of you boosting really, really fastly. But, oh my god, I have to stop for a second. Look at that shit. Oh, what a set piece.
That is beautiful, yeah.
But yeah, it just, I don't know, it lends Unleashed a very, like, fast sort of feeling that Generations comes close to, but since I'm an Unleashed mark, I will never admit to it being just as fast.
Well, I think it's also in terms of the level design as well. In Generations, they sort of... It's not quite built around you boosting through everything quite as much. Like, there are still a lot of boost sections, but there's also a lot of sections, like the 2D parts where you're sort of platforming a little bit more prominent in Gens as well.
Well, I mean, the reason for that is because so many people complained about Unleashed being too fast, or at least it wasn't necessarily that it was too fast, it was just that people found Sonic difficult to control because they spent a lot of the time going so quickly. So when it came to Colours and Generations, they purposely tried to put in more platforming sections to slow the pace down because it was a known criticism from Unleashed. The unfortunate thing of that is that half of the fun of Unleashed was going ridiculously quickly.
Yeah, it's cathartic, really. Like, I don't get well, that's unfair to the people who don't like going fast all the time. I find it cathartic. That's not to say, like, the next NTom will find it, as enjoyable as I do. Different strokes for different folks, different Sonic fans like different Sonic games. And that's why if you pay attention to people bitching online, you'll think that everyone can't be pleased, when in fact it's just different people giving those opinions, you know? Oh man, what a level. What a level. We'll see you next time for more Sonic Unleashed.